Well, we celebrated the 4th of July last weekend. Or wait a minute, did we celebrate the 4th? You know, I can't remember a year when I didn't go somewhere specifically to watch the fireworks. Usually we go to a small town of Crosby, Minnesota, where they have an amazing fireworks display, and we do that every year. But because of COVID, didn't do it this year. It was my sister's family's turn to use the cabin. And so, as I was not celebrating the 4th, and not necessarily thinking all that great about America anyway, I sat on the porch with my family and realized that there were fireworks going off in every direction, to the north, to the south, the east and the west. And I could even hear in the distance softly, ooh, ah. And I thought, you know, this really is America. My neighbors, all of us, here looking at the sky in wonder, and being tickled and excited by the booms and the crackles, and surprised by the lights and the sparkling. And we look up into that sky and we feel that wonder, and we feel a sense of gratitude in our own way. And I realize that we do this inevitably together. Come, let us worship together today. Each week we spend a few moments recognizing the circle of life, the things that bring us joy and sorrow. In the coming weeks, Ray and I will be reaching out to various groups of people and asking you to share your family's joys and sorrows with us in the worship service. This week, from Jane and Brad Bear Benson family, including Henry, Oliver, Abe, and Violet, a sorrow. We were not able to enjoy the 4th with our cousin who usually comes to us for the holiday. She is immune compromised and cannot travel or see anyone outside of her immediate family. A joy, we had a visit from friends who live out of state, and it was a joy to spend time with our families together, especially seeing all the kids mature as they head towards adulthood. From Iris Steiner Manning, her family is quite very possibly getting a new dog that they have met and fallen in love with very soon, and its name is Banana. And Iris is finally getting a summer job. From Maya and Brett Hendel Patterson with Quinn and Wesley, our joys include time spent with family over the holiday weekend and being able to keep up with theater activities even during COVID. Our sorrows, not being able to see friends very much this summer, and acknowledging that this is the 4th anniversary of Philando Castile's killing. Let us pray. Holy One, we pray today as a reminder of how thankful we are to have this beautiful yet flawed world. It is full of amazing and challenging people, of amazing and challenging opportunities. And we ask you, Spirit of life, love, for the energy for us to keep going, knowing that we will make mistakes. We will do things wrong, but we will try. We will try with the support of each other. And we give thanks for those who come before us, who made all sorts of mistakes, but who also made all of this possible for us. We know we go forward likewise, but we can be forgiven. We can do all this in love. Amen.
Amen. people this weekend, I watched the film adaptation of Broadway's musical Hamilton in celebration and critique of the 4th of July. The musical is about a journey of one of our founding fathers, Alexander Hamilton's life, and I went on an emotional journey watching it. Admiration, outrage, grief, heartbrokenness, and love. Thinking about heroes that have been disappointing and yet still inspiring reminded me of Dumbledore. Yes, Albus Dumbledore from the Harry Potter series. I grew up reading the Harry Potter books and thought of Dumbledore as a mentor of mine, someone I looked up to. I would eagerly await the end of the story when Dumbledore would come in, sometimes save the day, but always clarify the confusing and hurtful things that had happened during the adventures of the trio. As the series continues, though, I, like Harry, started to doubt Dumbledore. Today I want to tell you a story that I've thought about a lot that comes from the 6th Harry Potter book. Dumbledore invites Harry on a mission to find a Horcrux, which, for those of you who don't know, is an object that holds a part of someone's soul. Spoiler, in this case, it's Lord Voldemort. So Dumbledore and Harry go outside of the Hogwarts grounds and apparate, magically transport themselves to a cliff on the side of the ocean. They jump into the icy, cold, salty water and swim across to a cave. They climb up the stony steps and get to the landing and are blocked by a barrier. Dumbledore realizes that to get across, he has to offer some of his blood. He tells Harry that he thinks this is because Lord Voldemort wanted his enemy to be weakened to be able to cross under the archway. So he pricks his hand, disgusted and disappointed, and the barrier opens up into this large archway, and Harry and Dumbledore can walk through onto a narrow landing on the edge of an expansive, a very large lake. So as Harry and Dumbledore are walking along, being very careful on this ledge, Dumbledore finds a magical rope and pulls it up, and what does he pull up? A boat that Harry and Dumbledore get in and sails them to the middle of the lake, where there's a landing and a basin filled with green glowing potion, and at the bottom is a locket, which they think is a Horcrux. They realize very quickly that in order to get to the locket, they have to drink the potion. So Dumbledore makes Harry promise that he will do whatever it takes to have Dumbledore finish drinking the entire potion, no matter what he says or how he feels. And Harry, of course, at first protests and said, "No, I want to drink it." But Dumbledore insists, and Harry finally agrees. And so as Dumbledore is drinking this potion, he gets really weak and falls forward and starts moaning and shouting and saying things like, "No, stop. It was my fault. I did it wrong. I was wrong." And Harry is very distressed, but tries to reassure him and keeps giving him the potion. And as Dumbledore drinks it, he continues wrestling with his internal demons. And finally, the potion is gone, and he collapses onto the platform. Harry tries to conjure water for him, but magic isn't working for him in that moment, and so he grabs water from the lake to help Dumbledore. And when he does so, enchanted beings rise up out of the lake and start attacking Harry. And luckily, Dumbledore has just enough in him to cast a fire spell that does work and protects Harry. And Harry gets Dumbledore to the boat, and they both sail back to the land and apparate to outside of Hogwarts again. relatively safe. Some of you know how the story continues, but today we're going to stop there. There are so many adventures and journeys in the Harry Potter books that are incredibly dangerous and life-threatening. And as an adult, I have a lot of critiques of Dumbledore. How could he let kids and teenagers go on such dangerous missions? But when I was a kid, I trusted Dumbledore. I was in awe of him, and like Harry, I wanted to go on all of the important missions. Like I said, later in the books, Harry and the readers find out stories about Dumbledore that make Harry question how good and right and moral Dumbledore was. And I remember reading those, feeling confused and heartbroken. Was Dumbledore really the person that I thought he was? And when I go through this process of doubt, I would remember this time on the platform when Dumbledore was risking himself, drinking this potion, making himself vulnerable, and sharing that he had regret, that he had done something wrong. Now, grief and regret don't make everything from the past okay. Some things will never be okay. Grief and regret do, however, allow someone to reflect and grow and change and be able to be and do better in the future. How do we really honor someone's legacy? The things that we are inspired by and grateful for, and their mistakes, the things that they do that we think are very wrong. What really makes a hero a hero? I don't like it when my heroes disappoint me or do something that I think is immoral, and I know that my heroes must be flawed because they are human. Without their flaws, who we think they were or are would be a lie. And so, despite everything I wish that Dumbledore had done differently and better, I do believe that Dumbledore's life and love made Harry a better person, and me a better person. And that also matters. Come, join us in singing our closing song, All That I Ask of You.
All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. Ishq'Allah ma'adulillah, Ishq'Allah ma'adulillah. Ishq'Allah ma'adulillah, Ishq'Allah ma'adulillah. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. Ishq'Allah ma'adulillah, Ishq'Allah ma'adulillah. Ishq'Allah ma'adulillah, Ishq'Allah ma'adulillah. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. May we see
that the complicated natures of which our heroes are remind us of their human flaws and mistakes, just like us. May we be inspired by them and tell them when they need to do better. May we see ourselves in their greatness and their failures. And may we regret well, welcome change and growth, and practice taking responsibility even when, especially when, they did not. May it be so, and amen.